Your brain is under attack. Right now, billion-dollar algorithms are waging war on your attention, weaponizing the same neural pathways that once helped humans survive and thrive. Every notification, every scroll, every click is a calculated strike against your ability to focus. But here's what they don't want you to know. The weapon they're using against you can be turned into your greatest advantage. What if the very system hijacking your motivation could be rewired to make you unstoppable? Today, you learn how to fight back. You filled yourself with determination and programmed your 12 alarms for tomorrow, decided to start the day early, ready to be productive. But when the first alarm sounds, the temptation to press the snooze button is irresistible. All that enthusiasm from the night before disappears, and suddenly getting out from under the covers seems like one of the most difficult tasks in the world, almost as complicated as pronouncing Worcestershire sauce, that English sauce with an unpronounceable name. The day that's barely beginning already seems like an enemy you want to avoid at all costs, and not the challenge you should face. While the cursor blinks on your computer screen, the task list seems to be watching you, begging you to complete it. You know you should be working, but you simply can't start. And when you try, the internet distractions become irresistible. You jump from tab to tab, scroll through social media feeds, hoping the algorithm will deliver something you can't miss. The cycle continues. You refresh YouTube endlessly, waiting for that video with quick edits and content that captures your attention for a few minutes. I know this cycle intimately. Just last week, I sat down to write, laptop open, coffee ready, clear goals in mind. But then I saw a notification from Instagram. Just a quick check, I told myself. One story became 10. 10 became an hour of mindless scrolling through reels of people I don't even know, doing things I don't even care about. When I finally looked up, the coffee was cold, the afternoon was gone, and I felt empty, defeated, like I'd been robbed of something precious. Take a breath. Let that truth settle. Everything I've described, I've lived through too, which is why I speak with confidence. You're not lazy, you're just lost. Lost in the middle of an avalanche of super stimuli that you can't control. And believe me, that's completely normal. Today we're immersed in the era with the greatest bombardment of stimuli in human history. It's not that you're weak or incapable. It's practically a miracle to be able to concentrate. This video will be different from what you're used to seeing here. Without those frenetic edits or illustrative images, it'll just be me talking directly to you. Think of this video as a moment to calm the mind, a pause to give your brain a rest. My goal here is simple, to explain why you're so overloaded with stimuli and show you 3 essential pillars to focus and regain control of your life. Because I know how it feels. It's one of the worst feelings that exist. Resting your head on the pillow at the end of the day and feeling like you're a failure for not being able to perform simple tasks. It can be devastating. Maybe you didn't manage to send that work email, open a document and write 2 paragraphs, or even read the 5 pages you promised yourself. This doesn't happen because you're lazy or uninterested in life, but because at some point you lost the ability to concentrate on more complex tasks. Before continuing, I want to make something very clear. This video isn't going to solve all your problems at once. It's just a guide, a path for what you need to do from now on. The first step is simple. Watch this video until the end. I know that right now you might have restless hands wanting to open another tab, check the comments, or even glance at your phone. But stop. Focus here. This is the first step to regaining control of your mind and consequently your life. What I'm going to share with you is powerful. It worked for me, and it works because it's backed by science. Take a deep breath. Stay with me. Here's the science you need to understand. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical, it's the motivation chemical. There's a fascinating study that proves this. Researchers placed an animal with a damaged dopamine system next to a lever that released food or cocaine directly into its bloodstream. While the animal was right next to the lever, it kept pressing it. But the moment it had to walk even a few steps to reach that same lever, it gave up completely. The pleasure was there, but the motivation to seek it was gone. For our ancestors, dopamine motivated the search for survival, hunting, seeking water, finding shelter. Today, that same system drives us to stay glued to Cristiano Ronaldo's stories or refresh our feeds endlessly. We live surrounded by super stimuli that constantly bombard our dopaminergic network, hijacking our reward system and tricking our brain into believing we're about to do something crucial for our survival. This creates dopamine tolerance. We need more and more stimulation to feel the same satisfaction we once got from less. Reading, writing, studying, working, these activities can't compete with the instant gratification of social media, TikTok dances, or Netflix binges. Your brain has been trained to expect constant novelty, bright colors, quick cuts, and immediate rewards. Here's the breakthrough discovery. The same brain region that processes pleasure also processes pain, and they work like a balance scale. When you get that dopamine hit from scrolling Instagram or eating junk food, your brain compensates by adding weight to the pain side. Dr. Anna Lemke calls these gremlins, little weights the brain adds to restore balance. But these gremlins like to overstay, tipping the scale too far toward discomfort. This is why after binge watching Netflix or spending hours on social media, you don't feel satisfied. You feel worse. Empty. Restless. Like something is missing. Your brain is literally in withdrawal, craving more stimulation to feel normal again. Pause for a moment. This is why you feel empty after mindless scrolling. The solution isn't to eliminate all pleasure. It's to strategically tip the scale toward productive discomfort first. When you choose challenging activities like studying, exercising, or creating something meaningful, your brain compensates by naturally releasing feel-good chemicals afterward. This is how you reclaim your reward system and find genuine satisfaction in your accomplishments. To recalibrate this internal balance, we focus on 3 fundamental pillars in this specific order: mindset, mind, and body. Think of it as belief, then clarity, then action. Pillar 1, the power of yet, transforming your mindset. Years ago, I discovered Dr. Carol Dweck's groundbreaking research on mindset. She gave 10-year-old children problems far above their skill level. Most became discouraged, believing their intelligence was fixed and feeling defeated by failure. But a small group got excited, seeing impossible challenges as opportunities to learn something new. The difference? Mindset. Children with a fixed mindset believed abilities were innate and unchangeable. Those with a growth mindset understood that skills develop through effort and dedication. But here's what's fascinating. Brain imaging studies show that when people with a growth mindset make mistakes, their brains show increased activity in areas associated with learning and improvement. When fixed mindset people make mistakes, their brains essentially shut down, focusing on the failure rather than the lesson. The magic word that changes everything is yet. Instead of "I'm not good at math," try "I'm not good at math yet." Instead of "I can't focus," say "I haven't learned to focus yet." This simple word shift activates completely different neural pathways. Let that word sink in. Yet. This isn't just positive thinking. It's rewiring your relationship with difficulty. When I was struggling through university, spending hours on projects, I'd think Michelangelo created the Pietà at 23, and here I am doubting whether self-help books work. Am I a failure? But effort isn't evidence of inadequacy. It's evidence of growth happening. Here's a practical exercise. For the next week, every time you catch yourself thinking, "I can't do this," or "I'm not good at that," add the word "yet" to the end. Notice how it changes not just your words, but your entire approach to the challenge. Consider the most successful people you know. Did they emerge fully formed with their skills intact? Of course not. Mozart composed music for decades before creating his masterpieces. Einstein failed his first university entrance exam. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. The difference isn't talent. It's the willingness to embrace the process of becoming. The growth mindset also changes how you view others' success. Instead of thinking, "They're so lucky," or "They're naturally gifted," you start asking, "What did they do that I could learn from?" This shift from comparison to curiosity is transformational. The truth is, none of us arrived in this world fully prepared. We all have areas where we're still learning, still growing. Your current limitations are not permanent fixtures, they're temporary states. Recognizing this gives us the resilience to continue despite doubts, discouraging voices, or moments that make us question our path. Everything is a process. You're not behind, you're becoming. Pillar 2, conscious mind control, curating your mental diet. The second pillar is understanding that you have complete control over what you consume mentally. Your current overstimulation results from losing that control, allowing random stimuli to flood your consciousness without purpose. Think of your attention as the most valuable currency you possess. Every moment you spend consuming content, you're making an investment. The question is, what return are you getting on that investment? I'm not suggesting you throw away your phone or abandon social media entirely. The internet is a powerful tool for accessing information, connecting with others, and occasional entertainment. The problem isn't using these tools, it's how we use them. The key is conscious consumption. If you mindlessly consume memes and scroll feeds without intention, that's the mental equivalent of eating fast food at every meal. Occasional junk content is fine, but constant mindless consumption affects your mental health, just like constant junk food affects your physical health. Here's how to implement conscious consumption. Before opening any app or website, ask yourself 3 questions. What am I looking for? How long will I spend here? And what will I have gained when I'm done? These simple questions transform passive consumption into active choice. Your challenge is discovering what genuinely interests you and seeking content that feeds that curiosity. Maybe you're fascinated by astrophysics. Follow researchers like Neil deGrasse Tyson or Brian Cox instead of random influencers. Perhaps you're interested in fitness. Seek evidence-based content from professionals rather than quick-fix gimmicks. Instead of letting algorithms choose for you, you choose intentionally. When you open YouTube or Instagram with a specific purpose, you're actively seeking rather than passively consuming. This type of intentional engagement feeds your attention rather than depleting it. Create information boundaries. Designate specific times for news consumption instead of constant updates that spike your anxiety. Choose 1 or 2 trusted sources rather than consuming the same story from dozens of outlets. Your mental diet needs the same curation as your physical diet. Beyond conscious consumption, I strongly recommend creating and sharing what you learn. Start simple. Write down interesting discoveries. Record your thoughts and reflections. This helps develop new perspectives and deeper understanding. The act of creating forces you to organize your thoughts, identify gaps in your understanding, and articulate ideas clearly. Whether through videos, podcasts, articles, or newsletters, the act of creating something meaningful brings that perfect balance of challenge and satisfaction. Here's a practical starting point. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you learned and one question that emerged from your learning. This simple practice transforms casual consumption into active learning and helps you identify patterns in your interests and knowledge gaps. Creating content is challenging but deeply rewarding. When you finish something you're proud of, you experience authentic dopamine release, the kind that actually satisfies rather than leaving you wanting more. You're training your brain to find pleasure in contribution rather than just consumption. Remember, clarity doesn't create action. Action creates clarity. To gain direction in life, you must read, write, and reflect consistently. The people who seem to have it all figured out aren't consuming more information. They're processing and creating more. Pillar 3. Body in motion, the foundation of mental strength. The final pillar involves physical movement, not appearance, but the profound connection between body and mind. Your brain doesn't exist in isolation. It's part of a complex system that includes your entire body. When your body is sedentary and weak, your mind follows suit. Find any physical activity you enjoy, from walking to intense training, and make it non-negotiable in your daily routine. The key word here is enjoy. If you hate running, don't run. If you despise gyms, work out at home. If traditional exercise feels overwhelming, start with dancing to your favorite music. Scientific research shows that people who walk 10,000 steps daily versus those who reduce to 1,000 experience benefits beyond the obvious. Yes, there's improved insulin sensitivity and reduced body fat. But most importantly, physical activity supports your entire metabolic system, reduces anxiety, and enhances cognitive function. Exercise literally grows your brain. It increases production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which acts like fertilizer for brain cells. Regular physical activity improves memory, increases focus, and enhances your ability to learn new skills. It's the closest thing we have to a miracle drug for cognitive enhancement. But here's what's even more important. Exercise perfectly demonstrates the pleasure-pain balance we discussed earlier. It's challenging and uncomfortable initially. On cold mornings, you might question, "What am I doing out here?" But after each session, the sense of accomplishment is incomparable. You're literally training your brain to find satisfaction in productive difficulty. The mental benefits extend far beyond the workout itself. Regular exercise increases your tolerance for discomfort in all areas of life. When you can push through the desire to quit during a workout, you develop the same mental muscle needed to tackle difficult work projects, maintain challenging relationships, or learn new skills. Start small and be consistent rather than sporadic and intense. A 15-minute walk every day beats a 2-hour gym session once a week. Consistency builds neural pathways that make movement automatic rather than a daily negotiation. Create movement anchors throughout your day. Take phone calls while walking. Do push-ups during commercial breaks. Take the stairs instead of elevators. These micro-movements add up and keep your body active even on busy days. The key is finding movement that motivates you to leave comfort daily, even when it feels hard. Maybe it's hiking in nature, playing basketball with friends, or following along with online yoga videos. The best exercise is the one you'll actually do consistently. Take a moment to imagine how different you'd feel with these 3 pillars active in your life. Movement also serves as a natural reset button for your dopamine system. When you're feeling overwhelmed by digital stimulation, physical activity helps restore balance. It's like hitting the reset button on your brain's reward system. Now that you understand the 3 pillars, let me give you a practical roadmap, a 24-hour reset protocol that you can implement immediately to begin reclaiming your attention and motivation. Morning first 2 hours after waking. No phone for the first hour after waking. This single habit protects your brain's natural morning clarity from immediate hijacking. Start with 10 minutes of movement, stretching, walking, or light exercise. This activates your body and primes your brain for focus. Write down 3 priorities for the day. Not a massive to-do list, just 3 meaningful tasks that would make you feel accomplished. Read something substantial for 20 minutes, a book, long-form article, or educational content that challenges your mind. Midday work-study period. Work in 90-minute focused blocks, followed by 20-minute breaks. Your brain's natural attention cycles align with this rhythm. During breaks, move your body instead of scrolling. Walk, stretch, or do jumping jacks. This maintains energy without depleting dopamine. If you must use social media, set a specific time limit and stick to it. Use your phone's built-in app timers. Practice the yet mindset when facing challenges. Instead of, "This is too hard," think, "I haven't figured this out yet." Evening lasts 3 hours before bed. Implement a digital sunset. No screens 1 hour before sleep. Blue light disrupts sleep quality, which affects next-day focus and mood. Reflect on the day by writing 3 things you learned and 1 thing you're grateful for. This reinforces positive neural pathways. Prepare tomorrow's environment for success. Lay out workout clothes. Prepare your workspace. Charge devices away from your bedroom. Read fiction or practice light stretching to transition from day mind to rest mind. Weekly reset ritual. Every Sunday, review the week. What worked? What didn't? What patterns do you notice? Plan 1 creation session where you write, record, or build something meaningful. Schedule 1 physical challenge, a longer hike, new workout, or active hobby. Curate your digital environment. Unfollow accounts that make you feel worse. Find new sources of inspiring content. The key to this protocol isn't perfection, it's consistency. Start with just 1 element and gradually build. Maybe begin with the morning phone restriction or the evening digital sunset. Small, consistent changes compound into massive transformations over time. Remember, you're not just changing habits, you're rewiring decades of conditioned responses. Be patient with yourself while remaining committed to the process. Every time you choose conscious action over automatic reaction, you're strengthening your ability to direct your own attention and energy. Transforming your mindset, controlling your mental diet, moving your body daily, and implementing structured resets. These elements work together to create a life of intentional focus rather than scattered reaction. This isn't about becoming a productivity robot or eliminating all pleasure from your life. It's about reclaiming your power to choose where your attention goes and what deserves your mental energy. It's about building a life that feels meaningful rather than just busy. The changes I'm describing aren't quick fixes. They're lifestyle shifts that compound over time. In the beginning, it might feel like you're swimming against a strong current. Every notification will seem urgent. Every break will tempt you toward mindless scrolling. Every workout will feel like too much effort. But here's what happens when you persist. Gradually, the current changes direction. Focus becomes easier, not harder. Creative work becomes enjoyable rather than torturous. Physical challenges become energizing instead of depleting. You start to crave depth over distraction, meaning over entertainment. The main truth is this: you are responsible for your own journey. Control of your mind rests in your hands. If you don't take charge, the world assumes that control gladly. And the world doesn't care about your mental health or well-being. It wants to harvest your attention for profit. But here's what you should celebrate. If you've made it this far, you've already taken the crucial first step. You've focused on something beyond constant stimulation for an extended period. That's already a victory and the beginning of reclaiming control over your mind, brain, and life. Remember, this isn't a magic solution. You won't leave here transformed into a new person immediately. This is the beginning of a process you must follow step by step, day by day, choice by conscious choice. You have reached the end. But endings, as every philosopher knows, are just disguised beginnings. The ancient Greeks had a word, metanoia, a fundamental transformation of mind. Not change, but metamorphosis. The caterpillar doesn't improve. It becomes something entirely different. Here's what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. The extraordinary understand that consciousness is not a spectator sport. Your attention is not a resource to be harvested by others. It is the raw material from which you sculpt your destiny. Every moment you choose what deserves your mind's focus, you are wielding the most powerful force in the universe, intentional consciousness. You are not just consuming content, you are composing your soul. The algorithms will always be there, whispering seductively. They will promise you everything and deliver nothing. They will offer you the world and give you a screen. But you now hold something they cannot algorithm: awareness. So I leave you with this. Tomorrow, when that first alarm sounds, you will face the same choice humanity has always faced. The choice between what is easy and what is meaningful. Between being sculpted by circumstance or sculpting yourself. The dopamine will call. The notifications will beckon. The infinite scroll will promise just one more hit. And in that moment, you will remember, you are not your impulses. You are the awareness that observes them. Tomorrow, don't snooze. Don't scroll. Just breathe and begin. What will you choose?